Okay, so today we have the Barenaked Ladies and Brian Wilson. So I listened to the House Martins, and I said that they kind of reminded me of the Barenaked Ladies, and then that got me thinking. I haven't listened to the Barenaked Ladies in a long time, and I saw a song called Brian Wilson, and I mean Brian Wilson is one of my favorite musicians of all time. So I am intrigued, and we're gonna try to watch the video. Hopefully, it doesn't get blocked. If it does, I'm gonna have to put up the song. But anyway, I've been having some bad luck with that. YouTube blocking the videos. Anyway, so let's get into this today. Talk about it after and see what's going on. Like I said, I love Brian Wilson. So let's see the Barenaked Ladies take.
Drove downtown in the rain, 9:30 on a Tuesday night, just to check out the late night record shop. Call it impulsive, call it compulsive, call it insane. But when I'm surrounded, I just can't stop. It's a matter of instinct, it's a matter of conditioning, a matter of fact.
What a nice
You
voice.
can call me Pavlov's dog. Ring a bell and I'll salivate. How'd you like that? Dr. Landy, tell me you're not just a pedagogue. 'Cause right now I'm lying in bed, just like Brian Wilson did. Well, I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. So I'm lying here, just staring at the ceiling tiles, and I'm thinking about what I think about. Just listening and re-listening to Smiley Smile, and I'm wondering if this is some kind of creative drought, because I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Well, I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Whoa. And if you wanna find me, I'll be out in the sandbox, just wondering where the hell all the love is gone. I'm playing my guitar and building castles in the sun, whoa, 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 and saying fun, fun, fun. I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Well, I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Whoa. I had a dream that I was 300 pounds. No, I was very high. I floated till I couldn't see the ground. I floated till I couldn't see the ground. Oh, somebody help me. I couldn't see the ground. Somebody help me. Couldn't see the ground. Somebody help me. Because I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Well, I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Ooh, yeah. Drove downtown in the rain, 9:30 on a Tuesday night, just to check out the late night record shop. Late night record shop. Call it impulsive, you can call it compulsive, you can call it insane. But when I'm surrounded, I just can't stop.
Barenaked Ladies and Brian Wilson. I have to say, I mean, like I said off the top, as somebody who loves Brian Wilson, I love this song. I mean, I have to say, this was so good. This was very, very good. From the friggin', right off the bat with the acoustic guitar, and just, I always forget, I know a little bit about the Barenaked Ladies, of course, I know, they're a Canadian band, and being a Canadian is just like, you hear a lot about the Barenaked Ladies, but yeah, I've never heard this song. And I know of Ed Robertson and stuff, but I forgot about Stephen Page. I don't know why, but of course Stephen Page, who sang lead on this one, I know he left the band. It was in 2009, from what I see. And I don't know. I just forgot about. I was just like, I was thinking Ed Robertson sang all the songs or whatever. But yeah, Stephen Page was also big voice, obviously. And he wrote the song as well. As a tribute to Brian Wilson, which I love. And I mean, just to talk about the personnel here right at the top as well. So it says on. My God. So yeah, Stephen Page, acoustic guitar and lead vocals. Ed Robertson also on acoustic guitar and backing vocals. Jim Cregan on double bass and backing vocals. I mean, the double bass in this was unmissable as well. Andy Cregan on congas and backing vocals. And the congas, of course, I mean, the man was just going wild of those. And Tyler Stewart on drums. And I mean, you could just tell, the band, I mean, so colorful with the shirts and, the shorts they're wearing and all this stuff. Very 90s, those haircuts are pretty 90s as well, especially Ed Robertson's. Yeah, just so colorful. They looked like they're having so much fun. And I don't know, I just love how it started out so slow, and I guess how it ended, kind of so wildly. And I guess it did slow down there for a minute, and then we went back in, and then it ended on a crescendo there. But so I just have to say at the top, I mean, with some of these lyrics here, I caught some of them of like referencing Brian Wilson, obviously lying in bail like Brian Wilson did. I mean, that's what it's something as a Beach Boys fan, I have an old dad, so that's how I really got into, I guess older music. That was my way anyway. And, reading about, Brian Wilson and a Beach Boys autobiography. I don't know. I just figured that Brian Wilson, he was just there from 1962, I think it was when they started until, well, now they're not together. I know that. I don't know. I didn't think that he left or anything, but of course, if you read up on Brian Wilson, with his mental health issues that he still suffers from today, with, hallucinations, in all the, audio and visual hallucinations or whatever, just in his head, and he sees things as well. I just didn't know all this stuff about Brian and how, he would lay in bed basically, throughout, I think it was a lot of the 70s. And he stopped touring with the Beach Boys in the mid 60s. I think it was 66, when he worked in Pet Sounds and all that stuff. So anyway, yeah, I just know a lot about, Brian, of course, but, I don't know, you didn't really know too much. And then he kind of had to come back in the 80s and, thank God for that. But anyway, just to look at the lyrics, because I have to. Actually, I'll read the about on Genius first, like I usually do. It's just a short one. So it says, the song is about Brian Wilson, co-founder of the Beach Boys, in his battle with depression and mental health issues. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty well, pretty basic, like I was kind of talking about. Just right off the bat, drove downtown in the rain, and I have to say, like I said there, Stephen Page's voice is so nice, and it's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. Would you say nasally kind of a thing? I don't know. He has that certain kind of maybe twang or something. It's such a distinctive voice. I mean, it's just I don't know. It has a certain sound anyway to it. And especially when he's just kind of talking to you at the start, it's just very soothing. Anyway, 9:30 on a Tuesday night, just to check out the late night record shop. Call it impulsive, call it compulsive, call it insane. I love that. But when I'm surrounded, I just can't stop. I'm guessing surrounded by the music. Second verse, it's a matter of instinct, it's a matter of conditioning, a matter of fact. You can call me Pavlov's dog. Ring a bell and I'll salivate. How'd you like that? Dr. Landy, tell me you're not a pedagogue, because right now I'm, and then you go in. But there are some annotations here. And of course, Dr. Landy, it sounded familiar, but of course I don't know everything about Brian Wilson. But here, there's an annotation where it says, Dr. Eugene Landy was a radical American therapist and psychologist who was treated Brian Wilson. He was accused of brainwashing, drugging, and isolating Brian, and his license was taken away. Jesus, I didn't know any of that, so holy crap. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Brian Wilson's been through so much. It's just good Lord, had his license taken away. Holy shit. Anyway, going to the chorus, lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. While I'm lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Love the, the soaring voice on the end of those notes as well. When he says, just like Brian Wilson did, and so good. Anyway, so there is an annotation here, of course, for the chorus. Brian Wilson, I don't think you have to explain, as it says here, was the main songwriter for the Beach Boys. I think most people do know that. After his father's death, he became secluded, addicted to drugs, and mentally ill. Lying in bed refers to pre-therapy Brian, who went months doing almost nothing but lying in bed. A habit he may have picked up from his father, who supposedly did the same thing. Presumably, this was a symptom of severe depression. I can't talk. But they are talking about after his father's death. I didn't know that it was because of that, but I know, about his father's death. If you, see an interview with him or anything where he talks about his dad, he talks about how his dad, beat him, mercilessly, terribly, in the bathtub and all this stuff with like a coat hanger. And I mean, I think there was one time I remember reading like I said, the autobiography of the Beach Boys that I read, where Brian Wilson finally had enough of his dad, and he took him and threw him up against the wall or something like that. And I mean, Brian Wilson, I think he in his heyday back then, I think his peak height was like 6'2". He was a big boy, and I'm sure his dad probably was a big boy too. But I mean, Brian Wilson was young in those days and everything. But anyway, yeah, he just threw him up against the wall and told him off or something like that. And then that was the end of that. And Brian Wilson finally stood up for himself. And I mean, I think that's another reason he said, I think he's deaf in one ear. And he told on an interview as well, where he said he thinks because he was beat by his dad when he was like 3 years old. So it's just nuts, again, talking about Brian Wilson's life. And I mean, throwing his brothers there too, Dennis and Carl. They went through a lot of the same shit. I mean, my God, it's just like, again, I don't know. I just like Brian Wilson so much. So this is all just coming out. Anyway, so yeah, talking about his dad there, that's just what came to my head. Anyway, I'll stop talking now. With the third verse, when he says again, so I'm lying here just staring at the ceiling tiles, lying in bed, looking at the ceiling tiles, just like you can see in my room a little bit anyway. Going on, just listening and re-listening to Smiley Smile. So of course, Smile, an album there, which wasn't released until 2011, I think it was. I think he didn't release it, or yeah, it was the 12th album for the Beach Boys. Smiley Smile. Okay, but I'm thinking of Smile. Okay, yeah, because that was another Beach Boys album that wasn't released for a long time. Anyway, and I'm wondering if this is some kind of creative drought because I'm lying in bed, just like Brian Wilson did. And the whole thing about Smiley Smile was a disappointment to a lot of fans and all this stuff, as it says here in a annotation. And I mean, yeah, it's just like, again, talking about, is this a creative drought? Just Brian Wilson thinking about everything while lying in bed. And then we go into the fourth verse. And if you want to find me, I'll be out in the sandbox, just wondering where the hell all the love has gone. And I do know a little bit something about his sandbox. It says here in an annotation, thank God for genius.com here. Started during the development of the Smile Project, Brian Wilson was known to write many of his songs on a piano placed in a large sandbox. So I just love that. It's just like, just put a sandbox in my room here, and I need inspiration. It's just like, I mean the Beach Boys, I mean, that's what they are. It goes on here again, the whole thing about wondering where all the love has gone. It says this could be a reference to the Beach Boys song Love Surrounds Me, but that was written by Dennis Wilson, not Brian. Coincidentally, Brian did write a song called Where's Love Been, released in 1998, 7 years after Gordon. It could also be a reference to Wilson's absence on the Beach Boys albums from the late 70s to the early 90s, going on and on. Or, I mean, just from my perspective, I mean, probably not to do anything with him, but I mean, Mike Love, of course, in the band there as well. But I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't think that fits at all. But that was just a thought in my head for a second. Anyway, and then going on, and I'm singing Fun, 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 which of course is a well-known Beach Boys song, which is a very fun song, where I think Mike Love sings lead. Anyway, and of course we have the chorus again, the bridge. And here with the bridge here, I had a dream that I was 300 pounds. And though I was very heavy, I floated till I couldn't see the ground. Going on and on. I couldn't see the ground. Somebody help me because I'm lying in bed. And it says here, in 1982, Brian Wilson actually weighed 325 pounds. So I didn't even know this. But he lost the weight right on time for the 25th anniversary in 1986. So again, I knew that Brian got, big, but I didn't know he weighed 325 pounds. And again, that's a big man, 6'2", 325, just lying in bed. It's just like, good Lord. Anyway, And then we had the chorus once again, and then the verse from the first verse finishes off the song. And yeah, I feel like there was a lot of I just talked a lot there, but I mean, yeah, it's just Brian Wilson gets me going in many ways. And yeah, so just, you know, again, I just love this tribute to Brian Wilson. I love Stephen Page's voice on it, and also I see here that Brian Wilson actually has covered this in concerts and such. So that just makes me, you know, fills me with joy. I gotta be honest. I just love that Brian Wilson also, you know, appreciates the song. And like I said, the band looks like they're just having so much fun, especially in the video. Like I said, the man on the congas there, I mean, he's going wild. And of course, Tyler on the drums, he looks like he's just pounding away as well. And just the dancing as well of Steven and Ed. And I mean, Steven, you know, playing the acoustic guitar and jumping up and down or whatever. It's just, yeah, I don't know. You can really kind of tell that this band, you know, was a 90s Canadian band. That's what I get anyway. And again, I see that also, you know, more information just reading up here, that this song kind of broke them into the US. And just that chorus alone is so catchy. I could just imagine that. Yeah, I can see that happening. And you know, again, as I always am, I'm on so many different you know, freaking sites or whatever, and Songfacts as well. And just to see here, like I said, Stephen Page, who wrote the song Insane Lead, he, as I said, he left the group in 2009. It said performing the song without him proved to be challenging. They went on to simplify the arrangement and had Ed Robertson on lead vocals. So I don't know, I just find it, you know, interesting, you know, that after a man, you know, one guy leaves, it's just like, Jesus, how did he do this? And it's just like, you know, we have to simplify this. So anyway, great, you know, lead vocals from Steven here. And like I said, you know, they remind me of, I think I said in the House Martins video that I did, that his voice kind of reminded me of Ed Robertson, but it was actually Stephen Page. I just forgot all about Stephen Page. I don't know why. It's been so long since I listened to the Barenaked Ladies, but here we are today, and this one's a freaking good one. So anyway, this video is so long. I just, you know, once I get talking about Brian Wilson, I guess I don't stop. But anyway, what a lovely song. Great tribute. And I hope you could tell how much I freaking loved it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. I hope I didn't talk too much, you know, talk your ear off and all that crap, and you didn't. If you're still here anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate all of the support. And, you know, shout out to Brian Wilson, because his music, you know, has saved so many. And I mean, his music has saved me as well. I mean, I have to say, just, you know, listening to a song like Till I Die, which he wrote about, you know, which he wrote instead of committing suicide, I think was the story. It's just so heavy. And you learn so much more about Brian Wilson's life. And it's just like, Jesus. So anyway, yeah, again, thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.